Welcome to episode 131 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I'm joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians.
Sharks.
So glad. No more lying to Gray.
Gray.
Good evening, everybody.
And very special guest, Heftyflounder.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening to the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group. We utilize the forums for both comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the live show, you can always find the podcast on iTunes, as well as upload it to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all of the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardians of D. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include Ghosts and Echoes, a podcast that contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards, as well as the Destiny lore-focused podcast called Focus Fire Chat. Once again, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I'll see you again next week.
Thank you very much, Hollow River. Excellent show planned for tonight. First, a couple of announcements. First, congratulations to Jelly Belly. This is a Guardian who we've fought alongside with in Guardian 1 for quite some time, and I've started to see things in people that I really feel like go well with Guardian 1, and I want my best. I want to do my best to fill Guardian 1 and the people that surround it with people who are interested in helping others, but naturally, natively. Like, I want it to be something that they're doing because they absolutely want to, not because they're trying to impress anyone, not because they're, trying to reach a goal, like they just want to do it. And Jelly, he's been just amazing. A great player, very friendly, very calm, very funny. Everything that I really hope to have people in Guardian 1. But because he's already part of this other group, and I try not to be a poacher of talent. I offered him this ambassadorship within Guardian 1, which gives him all of the rights and membership of being a member of Guardian 1. He just doesn't change his clan tag. And so we want to welcome him. Welcome, Jelly. Thank you for accepting our ambassadorship. You kick ass, my friend. The next announcement is that Guardian 1 Network has been offered the Twitch affiliate option. Right now, I'm going through trying to authenticate, and there's some shady websites involved. So I'm making sure that this is not just something that's it's like some kind of scam. But I mean, it says that we've made all of those. We've done all the checkpoints. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, let's get to the show. Heftyflounder, thank you very much for being here tonight.
You're very welcome.
Please, if you would, identify yourself to our good listeners, who you are and who you are.
Who I am in relation to people on this podcast?
Yeah, just why don't you give us the lowdown?
So I am Gray's significant other, and I am the one who got him into playing Destiny.
Oh my God, there it is. There it is right there. I
thought I'd throw that out there to begin with.
I could put this whole podcast around that. Okay, so first off, I just want to say thank you very much, Heftyflounder, because there's three things that I receive thanks for as part of Guardian 1. The first one is for bringing people together. There's a lot of people who they're not the best player. They don't have all the time in the world to play. And Guardian 1 offers people who have the heart to really help other people. Like, I don't want to put these parameters on people that you have to do this or you have to do that. I want it to be a really nice place to, have friendships and just play with really good people. That's when I feel I do my best as a player, when I'm around people that I feel comfortable with. So the first thing I get thanked for is for just creating Guardian 1. People have had an opportunity to meet some really great players. And so, it's changed their lives. And so I love that. The second thing I get thanked for the most is cutting off Sharks when he's like deep in a rant. And you'll know deep in a rant if we get there tonight. I think that Sharks is probably a little shied away from it right now because he felt I was attacking him about his intro comments. And then the third thing I get thanked for most is for Gray. Gray, since joining, has become an insanely powerful force within the Destiny community and the Guardian 1 community specifically. Like, he is probably the physical embodiment. Like, if I had to say, like, oh, well, which person would you send to the moon to represent Guardian 1? I would just pick Gray. I think, as a matter of fact, everybody in the group would probably pick Gray. I feel like he's been nothing but an amazing help, and he's a great player. And I think part of his great playing is that he doesn't know that he's not a great player, so that he really can really stretch his wings and fly because he doesn't know he shouldn't be able to fly. And so,
true.
and you know what? He has told me as much. So I would. First off, thank you very much. Thank you very much for introducing him to Destiny. But I mean, it goes back further than that. I mean, did you have to introduce fun to him as well? You met him.
Oh God.
No, just got him back to playing this specific video game.
So, but he said it goes back further than that. It goes back to Halo. He said that you're quite a player. Is this true?
Halo is, well, okay, so I'm a very bad video game player in the sense that I am super particular on what I like to play. And so far, Halo and Destiny are really the only two games that I have ever involved myself in time-wise, to like any extent the way a normal video game person would maybe devote their time to a game. It's only been Halo and Destiny. Halo started back in high school, and the only reason I got Destiny was because it was made by Bungie. I probably wouldn't have bought it unless maybe he had, and then I saw him play and thought I liked it, but it was really because of the connection to Halo that I even thought about buying Destiny and bought my Xbox because of it.
And am I correct in assuming that you felt vindicated in your assumption that Destiny was going to be good because Halo was good?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I never thought I would still be playing it this long after I started it, because even other games that I've played, I'll play for a few days or a week and be bored and done with it. And the way Destiny keeps on keeping on. Yep.
Excellent. It's funny that you say this, the way you describe this, like, oh, well, I only play Halo or I only play Destiny. These are like hardcore games. These aren't like, this isn't Candy Crush, this isn't like Clash of Clans. This is like real skills, first person shooter on a control panel, on a paddle. No, it's very interesting that's where you go to, kind of an all or none. So which Halo specifically did you start with?
Halo 1, absolutely. I can't even tell you how many times I played through Halo 1. I mean, I played a few things growing up on the computer, like Tomb Raider and Myst, but I mean, absolutely like nothing to the extent of which I played Halo, which started, like I said, in high school with all my guy friends. All the girls hated how we'd get together and I would just want to play Halo with the guys, and continued through college and continued to play the same Halo over and over and over. I took my Xbox once on a road trip, a family vacation to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and brought a personal TV and hooked my Xbox to it so I could play Halo in the car as we drove to South Carolina.
That is badass. And you know what? This comports with everything that Gray has told me, because I had a ton of questions for him, and so I hope that you don't mind, Hefty, me having you on, really just to get to him. I just really want to know about Gray. I love Gray.
Uh-huh.
But
no problem.
No, that's really awesome. That's dedication, and so video games really started for you with Halo. You said that you played some other things, but it wasn't really what took off.
No, I mean, unless you include like Tetris, but yeah, it was Halo. Yep, which was kind of my mom. My mom was into like computer games when I was growing up, and I bought my first Xbox with my allowance money thanks to her encouragement. So she played SimCity and Tetris, and she beat Myst way before I beat Myst, and so maybe it runs in my blood.
This is really excellent. This is really what I was hoping for. Like I'm thinking about, what am I going to ask her? What's she going to say? And it's really been better than anything I could have imagined already.
This is about as giddy as I think I've ever seen Remy, especially on the show, but even outside of the show, he's just like glowing right now. Right.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I just have so many questions, like Gray is an enigma wrapped up in, I don't know, some really nice chocolate in a really fancy wrapper, but on the ground in the, like in urban areas. So he still has his street cred. No, so okay. So I want to hear about your relationship with Destiny. Like when did you first hear about it? When did you start playing? And how did it take Gray so long to start playing? We'll get to that later. Okay, so where did Destiny start with for you, as far as like you first heard about it, and then when did you first play it?
I got into it a little later too. I was not a day one person. I saw it on a commercial and thought that it looked interesting, and then saw the Bungie title at the end. But I didn't buy Destiny until, I guess it probably would have been like, in the late summer, fall, after it would have first came out. So I'm not sure how many months late I was to it, but I was late, and I kind of powered through it with a friend of ours, and then I literally haven't put it down. It was bad for a while. Like, it was all I could think about, or I'd go to bed and just hear like their sounds in my head, and
oh man,
got me right back into playing.
That's really yeah. Do you have company?
No, we're good.
Some more dogs coming over.
Still talking. Just saying hi.
So this actually bodes really well for you, Gray, in that, she was like 6 months late to the party. You are not really a year one guardian. You were like a not 6 month guardian. Because here I was thinking, and I'm glad that I have this answer now.
Wait, no. I'm going to interrupt you. That's still year one guardian.
Well, no.
Me or him? I was, but
no, you, not Gray. Gray's definitely not. Gray's
no, but
like,
what I'm saying is that in my imagination, Hefty had been on this Destiny kick since beta, and somehow Gray had been avoiding it. Like
Remy meant to say day one guardian, I believe, instead of year one guardian.
Well, because Gray is not a year one guardian, and so.
Yeah,
so because there was that chunk missing from the beginning, was it even a full year that he was outside of the circle? Right?
No, I mean he got it. I feel like it was only a few months apart that I bought it, and then he followed up. I don't remember exactly, but I don't feel like I played for too long without him. I just made a lot of progress in a short amount of time, playing through the story and the expansions. Because when I bought it, I think I bought everything at once. So, I mean, not like the most recent ones, but I bought, what's the first one called?
Destiny.
Like the one
Dark Below.
Dark Below, thank you. I bought that and House of Wolves at the same time that I bought Destiny. So that's kind of when I came in. But then Gray bought it. Do you remember?
Yeah, and so my recollection is a little bit different, like most married couples.
Whatever.
You actually, so you played the vanilla campaign and then continued down that track. But our friend that we play with, that again Hefty played with before I got the game, Legacy, had already purchased the expansions as well.
Oh yeah,
Dark
he's
Below
a day
and
one
House of Wolves.
guardian.
So he was the one who kind of encouraged Hefty to buy those expansions. But so she actually played it like a day one guardian would have. Vanilla content and that type of a game, and then bought each expansion after she had played through that vanilla content. But I waited actually until they create, because I knew that King's Fall was coming out, and I knew that they were going to do a bundle with all these together. That rather than buying them separately, I waited for King's Fall to be released, and then I bought them as the collection that they released at that time.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
I was saying Taking King marked the start of year 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad that we got that straightened out. So Hefty, what does your vault look like? Are you a heavy vault maniac, or does you just have no problem deleting stuff? Because I know people like that. I mean, I don't hang out with any of them, but I know people like that.
Question. That is a great question. Great question. So, I am notorious for deleting, dismantling things that I shouldn't. So, like, I would get something and think, like, oh, I don't like the name of this gun, so I'm going to dismantle it.
I don't like the name of it? Oh, my God!
That's correct.
Sharks is going to blow a fuse here.
So by the same, you're probably way into Fashion Frame. Do you really like picking out the shaders and, like, coordinate your armor because of the way it looks and not the utility?
I still need 15 shaders for my book, but yes. My favorite shader is Autumn Splendor. It's the orange one. It's the only thing I wear on any character. So I do have it narrowed down to that. But I'm also, along with the fact that I like Halo and I like Destiny, I also am extremely particular about what I like to use. So I'm a shotgunner. In Crucible, absolutely shotgun only. It was like a dream when Universal Remote was available, because otherwise getting primary kills for me in Crucible was never, ever, ever going to happen.
So it's a match made in heaven since Gray loves shotguns too.
Maybe that's where he got his chops
So I was just saying, Gray just is copying her then. That's
Yeah,
how
there
he
we
learned
go.
his
We already
playstyle.
know that Gray's not the real gamer in the house. So.
Well, and oddly enough, I don't like shotguns. I just really like Universal Remote.
Yeah, I know it's super weird that you like Universal Remote so much. I also like swords. I like close contact. I'm a sneaky little sucker, so I just. But otherwise, I also have a hoarding problem, so I have a hard time parting with certain like things from the very beginning that I thought that I liked to play with until I got a better gun. But there's memories tied to it, so I can't.
Yes.
Really... Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Proxima Centauri 2. It's the scout rifle I picked up year 1, vanilla scout rifle.
You don't know
and I
what
love
you just
this
started.
thing.
You
I love
seriously
this thing.
just started like the worst thing ever.
And-
We're gonna hear Remy talk about reminiscing for the next hour.
And so this thing
It's
had like
true.
super long range, and I used like one of those marksman scopes with it, and I loved it, and I played with it forever. And then just time went on, and I moved away from scout rifles, and then I came back to scout rifles. And year 2, beginning of year 3, I went back and I picked out that Proxima Centauri 2, and I thought, I'll go try this out, and it has like dink for stability, and I hate scout rifles like that. I absolutely hate scout rifles like that. So that's exactly the same thing.
But you can't part with it because it's there. And it's like a memory.
Not only that, but that was probably the one legendary I got for that week, because that's the way Destiny rolled. Oh, here you go. I hope you like hand cannons, because this is all you're getting this week. Excellent.
Yeah, I will watch Hefty Flounder get an Isa Luna with rangefinder and luck in the chamber and say, I don't like hand cannons. Delete.
Yeah, or snipers. Like, I only have, a couple that I keep just because you have to have one, and I will use it in PvE stuff, but PvP snipers, I really don't care. I've deleted many guns that he's like, oh, that's a god roll. I'm like, that's awesome. Watch this.
Oh man! I tell you what, this is like staring at only one half of a painting for like a year, and then finding out like what is on the other side of that painting. Like this is. Yeah. This is so fantastic because Gray is a very interesting individual. I'm certain that having to have taught him about fun and whatever. So it's really nice to see this. It's really nice to see this this other side, this family home time.
We play very differently, and I tend to use Destiny as my, like relaxation after work, weekend activity, and more so by myself and not necessarily a social thing. And he enjoys a lot of the Destiny stuff because of the social aspect, which obviously all of you guys do too. But I think part of it stems way back from playing Halo and playing as a female and not wanting to play with people I didn't know.
Yep.
And so
it was really bad. I mean, it's still really bad. Mm-hmm. There are people in this community that think it's bad, but I can imagine. I've heard lots of stories about the Halo community, and from where I'm from, the Call of Duty community was exactly the same way.
If I was a girl, I think I'd make sure I didn't pick a girly name, and when in doubt, I just pretend I was a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I don't know if he ever said where my name came from, but my original name was Orange Girl. Orange Girl was my Halo name. And then in college, when we'd play on our college, local network, I didn't want people to know I was a girl. So I chose Black Raven, which was a little bit less girly. Mm-hmm. And then when I bought my one, it assigns you a name. And it assigned me Hefty Flounder. And I thought it was hilarious. And so I kept it. So I just didn't want it to I couldn't be Orange Girl anymore because of it saying girl. So,
it was funny. It was funny when Gray told me that what your name was. Like he said something about Flounder, and I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" Like my girl's gamer tag is also Flounder. Like
so this is funny.
This is really funny. Okay, I have like seriously a million more questions. I know that you're not going to be around forever, but I want to start passing around some questions to the rest of this panel. And then if they do not satisfy my thirst for knowledge, I will be right back here with this other list of questions I have. So I want to start off with Gray. Gray always asks really great questions. He's always got multiple questions. And Gray, I think that I just want you to, ask her questions as if you don't know, because really this is for me. I mean, this is for the people listening to this podcast. Gray, what questions do you have for our very special guest, Hefty Flounder?
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like we're way back in like our marriage counseling, pre-marriage counseling, where it's like you have to discuss these issues and learn about the deepest, darkest secrets of each other.
Oh man,
and
it just gets better and better.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Not marriage counseling, pre-marriage counseling. Pre-marriage counseling.
You weren't supposed to say that we're in counseling on the podcast, remember?
Yeah. But my question for you is so I'll have a question probably for the end of the show after Hefty's had a chance to experience what the podcast is like and experience all of you jokers for the next hour and a half. But the my question more stems from, tell us a little bit about Hefty Flounder outside of the world of Destiny, and how does the person that you are in the real world affect how you play the game and the Guardian that you are in the game?
Well, outside of the game, I'm a veterinarian. I would say that doesn't affect my gameplay at all because there's not a lot of dogs in the game, although I was super excited about the wolves at the temple area. But I really feel like when I have played with people that I don't know, like on LFG when we had to meet people to do raids and stuff, I prefer to not have them know anything about me. I don't know, there's something about like playing Destiny in a group of people, or even not even people that you're in a chat with, but the other Guardians that you see wandering around, like you don't know who they are. You don't know if you're playing with a 12-year-old or a 60-year-old, and male or female. And there's something about that being anonymous that I like. They don't have to know me. They don't have to know how my day was. And so like Destiny, I treat as this isolated little world of, it's the only thing that you have to concentrate on that time, so you don't have to worry about your outside of Destiny stresses. But I think normally in real life I'd be a more helpful person than I would be in Destiny. And that's partly why I haven't joined a clan, because I kind of like to just do my own thing.
I was going to ask you that, actually. I can mark that off my list of questions. When will you be joining G1? Never screw you guys. Done.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, some of this stems to her earlier points that she brought up. Like, so a lot of people, you guys included, right? You loved a lot of Halo 2 because that was one of the first games that brought in a really strong multiplayer aspect of the game. And I mean, I actually didn't play Halo 2. When Hefty and I first started dating, I borrowed her Xbox to finally get to play Halo and Halo 2 for the first time. I had never played them before. But as she had said before, like, she would play the campaign. The first player campaign was really her bread and butter. It wasn't necessarily the online interactive multiplayer aspect, which is what most people think about when they talk about their time playing Halo. Okay, yeah. That's a good answer. Tell us about your tell us about your choice of race and subclass favorites and why.
I was hoping someone would ask this question.
That's another one that I'm marking off right now. Great, thank you.
I'm a Warlock through and through. I pretty much exclusively played Warlock from the beginning. And usually, I kind of rotate through all three of them, actually. I played Voidwalker the most in the beginning, but depending on how difficult something is, I certainly will utilize my Radiance when I need to. So, yeah, that's the one that most of my playtime is with. But I'm pretty even between using my Hunter and my Titan, and I will switch to those just for variety's sake. I'm pretty much exclusively Dead Orbit, though, too, so just to throw that in there. I have no idea why. Honestly, because that one is so far up the stairs to get to, and then the other one, you gotta go way over there. Like, it's just so much faster to go to Dead Orbit.
You know what? Those names are all stupid anyways, so you don't want those guns.
That's
exactly.
True,
my favorite shotgun was the Dead Orbit shotgun in Crucible from the beginning, so that's, yeah. Dead Orbit.
Yep. Plus, Wormwood's junk. You don't need that.
Yeah.
All right, my last question for you is, if you had the ear of the Bungie devs today, and you could tell them to implement one change in Destiny, what would you want them to do?
I would like them to undo all of the shotgun changes that they made in Crucible. Because for one, you should not have to not start out with ammo. That's ridiculous. And the fact that they made them weak all around, or that when you do pick up ammo and then you die, you lose it anyways. It's just ridiculous how much I almost quit playing Crucible entirely when they made that change. So thank goodness for Universal Remote.
I agree. It took a lot of fun out of it for me too. I like the versatility. I didn't like when they made it way back in the day when they changed it so that ammo didn't drop from the enemies anymore, and that you lost all your ammo when you'd switch weapons.
Yes.
I liked all that versatility they had back in the day, and that's just kept little bit by little bit. They've chipped that away, and I mean, it helped a little bit when they made it so that the secondaries automatically reload when you pick up a crate now. So now at least it's a little more fluid. The crates respawn fairly quickly, but some maps just don't have a lot of the green crates in a convenient spot, and I feel like it's just everybody shoot your primaries.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Mm-hmm.
Gray.
That was my last question. So have fun, boys.
Alrighty. Let's go to Jez. Jez, what question or questions do you have for our very special guest, Heftyflounder?
Well, since I don't normally have any questions, and the only question I had was just asked by Gray, I'm good.
Which one was your question?
I was going to ask your class.
My class? Yeah. I got class.
Excellent. Agrios, what question or questions do you have for Heftyflounder?
Well, most of the questions that I thought up with got asked so far. So let's go with if one-on-one custom PvP match, you versus Gray, your choice of map, who wins?
Well, so we've done, I don't know if we've done just one-on-one. We've done one-on-one with our friend, and I usually just get completely destroyed because of the shotgun thing, because he'll snipe me or they use primaries. I mean, if I could say like shotgun only, then I would definitely win. But otherwise, he knows the maps better, and
he is very studious.
Yes, that is true. Luckily, we now play in completely separate rooms, so he can't screen watch. But otherwise, he could screen watch and find my. I'm really good at hiding, so he could find my hiding places. This is why I don't play trials, though. Same thing, just like a complete utter disaster.
Okay, so your choice of map, universal remotes only.
Yeah, my choice of map too. That's a huge one. Yeah, definitely one of those inside tunnel ones. I would say that it would be a fair fight. And since I like to cheat at games more than him, I would probably find a way to cheat and win. So, like, throw a grenade and be like, sorry, forgot.
So the screen watching
use grenades. I just meant only weapon would be universal.
Okay. Yeah.
So the screen watching is just a cause and effect thing. Like, you're a cheater, and so he's like, oh hey, really, I'll watch your screen.
Because it was only one way, because I couldn't see his screen, but he could see mine, and that was in high school, that was what my friend always hated. You're screen watching, and so, yeah.
It was difficult in the very beginning with Halo and the quad split screen. It was, even though I knew my friends were cheating, even myself, it was difficult. If I saw my color, Spartan run across their screen, of course I'm going to jump. I'm not stupid.
Exactly.
And so there was go on.
We would play with 2 Xboxes on a TV that, like, he was able to. We'd have 8 of us essentially on one TV. So, like, what did you think I was gonna do? Not see? My screen's this big, so.
That's actually where gaming turned around for me, like even to the next gear up, because I played like GoldenEye, which was probably the very first person shooter on consoles, or at least the one that made it super fun. And so we played the hell out of that. But then getting into Halo, that was really, really intense. There was a learning curve, and you could get better at it. And it changed a lot when we were able to take that connection cable, and 4 of us would be in one room and 4 of us would be in the garage, and we'd split those, because then it doesn't matter if you're looking at your friends, because you're all on the same team. And so that was really fantastic. I'm glad you brought that up, because those were
fun.
Those were some of the best days, like especially when you made a really great play and you'd hear like muffled off in the distance. Oh,
that was so
way back in the day, my friend and I actually made a cardboard divider to stick in the middle of the TV screen, and we'd sit up close so that we could, because we'd be playing, and I'd be like, I know where you're at, and he'd be like, quit looking at my screen, and be like, I can't help you, be like, I know, but quit it.
That's awesome. That is so true.
Okay, so what is? Oh, sorry, Sharks. I'm so sorry. His beard, like the very end of his beard hairs, are like smoking. Sharks, please, what question or questions do you have for Hefty Flounder?
Okay, so for my first comment is we have a Twitch chat, and people are talking in the chat, and I think it's very unfair that the screen watcher over there didn't tell you about Twitch so you could actually see what was going on. It just kind of shows, once a screen watcher, always a screen watcher, not going to help his wife. But I put in this chat, I asked everybody who they thought was the bigger gamer, Gray or Hefty Flounder. And so Gray only got one vote, and the vote said it was actually a pity vote. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. But Gray actually did vote for you too. Okay. Now,
okay.
Obviously it looks like you are the bigger gamer out of the two of you. Is there anything that maybe you can prove that you are the bigger gamer? Have you done anything recently?
I don't necessarily feel like I am the bigger gamer. He at least has a resume full of games he's played and finished, whereas I get angry when there's not checkpoints in a game, or when there's a save point that you have to go to the same spot to save your game, and then you resume it and you forget where you're at, and then I quit the game. So
right. But I think
one I'm going to interject here on Sharks, which never works, but I'm going to do it anyways. I think what Sharks is saying is like if Destiny and Bungie came out with some way that you could catalog all your achievements that you were trying to complete in the game, maybe like before a certain time period, and you could actually compete with each other and compare how far you got on those accomplishments, that might be a pretty good measure of who's the better Destiny player.
Yeah. You mean like a book?
Like a book, almost.
Right.
Like a book of triumphs.
So how are you doing on your book?
Oh, my book has gone really well. I actually finished it last night, and so now I get to get my t-shirt with my name on it, which I'm super excited about.
Snap.
And my Grimoire score has also made a lot of progress as well. I was lacking in everything I had, left to complete as far as Grimoire cards go, and so I worked on those as well. I managed to finish the 100% finish without touching the raid page or the trials page, so I have some versatility in my book, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Super
Congratulations
excited
on that. That's something that a lot of people out there haven't done yet. So doing that's pretty badass. All right.
If we were going to compare that, then I haven't even completed either of my books. You know what we should be doing? Jez, will you look up her gamer tag on Destiny Tracker, please?
Oh gosh.
Wasted on Destiny would be, I have no idea what your hours are. Do you know what your hours are in the game?
My hours, I still think does exceed yours. Even with all of your raiding and trials, you definitely caught up because of raid nights and trials, but last I had checked, mine was still more. That'd be an interesting comparison.
Well, yeah, the time factor is part of it because certain people, some of them on the show, have a hard time detonating their bombs at Oryx, and so we have to play longer. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but that's the time.
Can't talk. Raids freak me out. So.
The raids freak you out? How many have you done?
Not a lot. Raids it's a lot of pressure on you individually, and so it's that whole mindset of like playing individually versus people depending on you. I have an issue with jumping, and so I get stuck and then I panic, and so I don't like when people are dependent on you to do something. That one, like the part on the sisters where you got to jump around and everybody's watching you. Oh, it's just, I can't handle it.
That's so interesting. Okay, so I'm curious to know because Gray is he's like an anchor for me. Like him and I have a really good chemistry because I freak out about shit, and he calms me down about that same shit. And this is like in the game too. Like if Gray is doing all right, then I'm doing all right. Like I can follow directions and I can be helpful, and I can watch him die over and over again for no reason. What are you talking about detonating my bombs? I hate that part of that raid. But no.
I thought that was Sharks who did that.
Oh no.
No, he was talking to me.
Oh, he was shaking his head, so I thought it was him.
No, because I knew who he was going after. So no, Gray knows better than to go after me, because most of the time I do my stuff right. Except for, I do have to say, he came in and saved the day yesterday when we were doing a raid, because I went and died for no reason, and I couldn't believe it because Gray had drank almost an entire bottle of wine all by himself. He was completely plastered. So I don't know how the hell he was doing stuff and I wasn't doing it, but
that was ridiculous.
Had a hard time making it back to the bedroom, to be honest.
I don't even know. I didn't see you yesterday.
Gray made it to a coffee table, and he just pulled one of those gold-lined silk blankets off of the side.
He used his green screen.
Right? He just rolled up in his green screen, just pulled it right off the wall, rolled up in it. Okay, what else you got, Sharks?
My last question for you is, what are you most looking forward to the next game?
Like Destiny 2?
Yeah.
I'm actually... Go ahead.
Well, no, I could add to that too, is and what would you hope to them actually have in the game?
Well, I'm kind of in denial about Destiny 2 because I'm sad that all the stuff that I've done in Destiny 1 feels like it's going away. So I don't I don't know. I know I'll play it, but I haven't put a lot of thought into what I expect out of it. I guess I'm kind of going into it open-minded and hope that it's just as great as the first time around and that I won't be let down. Because even like in my old games, going from one to the next like sequel or expansion, there's always that degree of, is it going to live up to what you were hoping it would be? And I hope it does, but I have no idea what to expect with it. I don't know.
You know, it's a good thing to keep your thoughts on it just totally blank, because I was really very, very deeply involved with finding Destiny information and eating it all up, and I read so much into what Destiny could be. Like, I feel like an idiot at this point, having thought of what Destiny was going to be, even though I was using current day video games as a marker point. At no point was I like, oh, well, they're going to transport me personally into this internet world. No, I was just using other video games as points of reference. Well, if this video game company did this 2 years prior to Destiny coming out, then there's no reason that Destiny shouldn't be able to do this. Bungie is an amazing developer, and so I think it's a great idea. I'm having a hard time coming up with what I want to see in it too, just because I feel like we're really close to seeing what's in it, or at least part of what's in it. I don't even want to. At some point, I had like fatigue of like trying to figure out what they're trying to tell me, and I just want to hear it. Just tell me what is in this game. And so I think that if you can just keep that going, Hefty, you will be in a really good place to enjoy what they give you. Because if I didn't know anything about Destiny and I had just, what is this game that is also by the makers of Bungie or Halo, I would have picked it up and it would have been fantastic because I wouldn't have had any prior idea of what was going on. So let's see if we can just stay there. Let's see if we can just stay there like la 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 la.
That's kind of how I felt when I first bought it. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that I even kept going with the campaign. Like, it just shows, at least me being so particular about what I play, like Bungie did something right because they drew someone in who's so picky, and just from the very first campaign mission, compared to a lot of other games. I tried to thank them when I went to their headquarters, but they don't let you pass that front door, so
I bet they would if you joined Guardian 1. Just saying. Just saying.
Just stood outside and took a selfie.
Well, there's that. I did something similar. So there's that. Okay, so was the
Yeah,
all right?
I'm
So
good.
for those listening, Hefty has 844 hours in Destiny, and Gray has 772 hours, and I can't even imagine that because Gray's playing all the time, or at least in my mind, Gray's playing all the time. Maybe
he is.
Maybe his availability is what I'm seeing. Like, oh, I could play all day today. He's not playing all day today, but he could. But I mean, that means that you've played way more than him. This is crazy talk. I think is
So
what
is
I'm
that Xbox hours or is that?
That's both.
He's 772 on both combined.
Yes, combined.
Oh wow,
That's
that's
correct.
crazy. That's crazy.
Right? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
definitely, I have a problem too, for sure.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that's. I don't think that that's
a problem.
a problem. I mean, Sharks. How much do you
800.
have?
Yeah, let's talk about problems.
Sharks numbers are a problem.
I'm over 3,000 now.
That's crazy.
See,
Right.
that's a problem. Don't you feel better now?
Yeah.
Within 25 days.
So, Heft, I've got. I'm going to actually interject a question because you brought up getting your book and going back and building your grimoire score, going back and getting those ghosts, which most people, myself included, I don't really want to do that, right? Like, I don't think that's going to be a lot of fun to go and find all these ghosts and try to get that node for my grimoire card. It just sounds like a lot of time of doing a very boring task. Did you feel like it was that? Did you dread having to do those activities to get your book completed? And then what was your feeling now after you've done those nodes to get it completed? How do you feel about that experience and that process?
Oh, the ghost one specifically, I was kind of dreading because I didn't know how difficult that they would be to. I mean, obviously I used YouTube to find them, but even to like physically go find them because they like to put them high places they have to jump to.
Yeah, where warlocks fear to tread.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Exactly.
float right by that little crevice you're supposed to land on.
Yes, he watched me do that a few times. But I just kind
And
of
just
did like,
so you guys know, she will not let me touch her controller ever. I tease her all the time, like, "Oh, while you're at work, I'll just go and I'll get that ghost for you." And the death stares I get if I even mention such a thing. She does it herself every time. She doesn't want any help.
it's true. I usually did like 10 ghosts at a time and then took a break and worked on a different node or whatever. Otherwise they do get a little monotonous. The worst ones are the ones in strikes that the ghost is between, like, say 2 points and then the people zap you forward because they don't know you're just trying to get a ghost at the top of something that you can't jump to.
This is what pays to be in clans. I have been called upon countless times to go into a strike with somebody just so they could go and get a ghost. And I'm like, okay, fine, no problem, we'll do that. And some of those ghosts are not easy to get. So yeah, I can imagine doing it without a team that's doing it. I mean, you obviously, the way you're doing it, you can always message people, but people aren't always up for, oh, you're going to go and get your ghost. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. We're not going to wait for you. So
yeah, it's true. They're the one strike I think I did at least 3 or 4 times to try to get, because there was 2 ghosts, and so I got one time and then got pulled forward and then couldn't get the other one in time, and I just had to keep doing it. So it was a little time consuming, but yeah, it's certainly fun when you're done with it with the 130. But I refuse to try to get the thing at the top of the mountain because that's just never gonna happen for me. So I tried, and no way. I don't have the patience for that one.
That's so funny. That's so funny to hear.
I haven't gone to get it yet either, if it makes you feel any better.
Good. I'm glad. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so Jez has 1,228 hours. Is that including the 251 deleted, or is that separate, Jez?
I don't know how they mark it down.
It includes it. It's 1,228 hours total. 250 hours of them have been deleted.
Okay.
Okay, and my total is 1,881 hours. 0 hours deleted. Agrios, how much was yours? All right, I'll look yours up too.
I feel like I'm the only one that's probably gonna have.
I didn't know I was supposed to be looking my own up, or I would have.
Too late. I mean, if I spelled this correctly.
Yeah, I'm surprised you deleted, Jez. Why'd you delete?
When I started, I had one of each class, and I played my hunter most. And then when we got to Dark Below, that was about the hate day that it was like, hey, it's better to just have 3 of one class. So I deleted everything and had 1 Titan left. And then when I switched back to having 1 of each class, I kept 1 of those Titans, and it may or may not have been like my original Titan. No, actually, no, it wasn't. So basically, the characters I have now probably were not the same characters I started with.
Interesting.
I'd like to have a moment of silence for Agrios' amount on here. This can't be right. It says that Agrios has 1,914 hours. Like, I am on your tail, Agrios. I am disgusted right now.
Disgustipated? Are you disgustipated right now?
I can't believe that. That means that you had to have fallen off of Destiny really hard. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I ran a little bit of Kingsfall, and like that was it. I did
tell you when he
rest
fell
of
off
the content after that, like once.
We know
was it
when
Fallout
he fell
4?
off of Destiny.
Was it
he
Fallout
fell
4?
off when they took away all of his gun perks, and they gave him 3 of coins. That's when we lost.
The 3 of coins. I know you guys insist that the 3 of coins had something to do with it, but I assure you, the 3 of coins had nothing.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it was that time period. That was when it went from here to, Agrios isn't online anymore.
Well, no, it got to the point where there was no more stuff I was interested in doing solo. So it was only
but you know what?
If I got online and during the day and there was nobody from the clan on, nobody on my friends list on, I'd go play a different game until someone got on to invite me or I noticed somebody else was on, and that's what happened more or less.
Yeah.
There's an easier way than arguing about it. Give me a second and I'll find the heat map tool.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so Sharks, was that your last question?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay. So I'm curious to know, Hefty, if there is like a specific line in the game that really stood out to you. You know, you seem like you are very, very like laser focused on what you want to get out of this game, and I applaud that, because a lot of times I end up just walking around the tower, you know, just like I want to do something, but I just really enjoy existing in Destiny. I'm curious to know if there's like a line or a character that really sticks out to you. Like for me, like I'm not as big of a Cade fan as most people seem to be, but like one of my most favorite lines in the game is after you put that transmat pad on the Dreadnought. And, you know, Cade goes on over the line and he says, "Hey, Zavala, want to see what a transmat zone looks like on the Dreadnought?" Like that right there is so funny to me. Like that's so funny to me. And so every time I play that mission, like number one, I get to see my jet go by. That's really cool. But that's always really stood out to me. And like I said, I'm not a huge Cade fan, but that was excellent. Is there an NPC or a cutscene or anything that stands out to you as being like really excellent and what you hope to see more in Destiny?
Oh, that's a great question. I wouldn't necessarily say anything too specific stands out, except that I can't think of when the scene comes up. It was in all the newer stuff. it might have been like the last story mission, but like you go and you walk across the ship and you sit down, and it like either your ghost or I think it's ghost voice. Someone starts talking, and it's all just like a big little like flashback about, I don't know, how far you've come, and like look what we've done. And it was right at like the culmination. It was like you know what I'm talking about?
It was like the quest for the Kostov.
Yep, that's where it was.
You were on that fallen catch off
yes.
of the right outside the plague lands.
Yes,
and he's all sappy, and I'm glad I chose you.
Yes, and I was like, oh, I did like that moment.
That's cool. I'm sure Bungie is going to be happy to hear that.
So I'm curious now. Now I have another question then. Okay, and the reason I'm going to ask this question is because Remy has talked about that particular scene, and there was something he didn't like about that scene. What is your feeling on Dinklebot versus Nolanbot?
Yeah, Nolan's coming back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like sort of said that and then wasn't sure if he was supposed to.
Yeah. Are you happy with the Nolan voice for the Ghost, or do you miss hearing Peter Dinklage's voice?
Yeah, I'm okay with it now, but originally I didn't like that there was a change. So part of me is mixed, I guess, on that one. I don't like when they change anything in something like that. It's like when, I don't know, it reminded me of in The Matrix when they changed the one, like the actress, because she might have passed away or something. And you were just supposed to like not notice that it was a different lady sitting there, and his voice changed. It's like that voice is a huge part of it. Are we just supposed to ignore that it's a different person?
Right.
Yeah, I know I'm the same way. I know Remy's the same way. And the reason I brought it up is because you said how much you liked that scene, and we all talked about that scene when it first happened. And what I remember about Remy saying was, "No, you weren't there. You weren't there. It doesn't matter how cool the scene was. You weren't there. You weren't my ghost. Don't act like you were there." And so it's interesting listening to it from the point of view now that as long as you're okay with the voice, how cool that scene was, because it was a really cool scene.
That's
okay,
true, yeah.
So I did say that I enjoyed that scene in spite of the fact that they were throwing it in our face, because that's my problem with it, is that they throw it in our faces. Like, okay, I get it. Dinklebot, Peter Dinklage is very popular. He has other things to do. He wasn't good for the part. Whatever. It doesn't matter why he left. You have somebody else in there. But now every time I go to the Cosmodrome, he's like, "Oh man, I'm so glad I found you here." And I just can't do it. I just can't get down with that. Like, you didn't find me here. Like, he could have said anything else as long as it wasn't a specific, "Oh, I found you here." But by the time I got to the Kostov mission, I wasn't necessarily, I wasn't so harsh on it. And so I could see why you would like that. It's a good scene.
Yeah.
I just hope that they don't have any more, like my suspension of disbelief. Let me have my suspension of disbelief. Like, you can't just throw this in my face and make me think that it's the same thing. Like, I know better.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I would also like to know, what did you make of the teaser for Destiny 2 and then the trailer for Destiny 2? There was a lot of comedy in there. There was a lot of Cade 6 in there. Did either of those things spark an interest in Destiny 2 to you that wasn't there before, or was it just like, yeah, duh, I'm going to play Destiny 2, like, doesn't matter what you have here? Did you enjoy those trailers?
Yeah, I mean, part of me does feel like it was. I watch them for the fun of it, but it won't change whether or not I, play the game. They could put out nothing and I would still play it. But I think they're always they can be very clever with any trailer or teaser that they make. I think it's, their creative side. Even just in the game with like things you were saying, like little phrases that they say, or during the special events, the way they decorate the tower, and they're more than just making a video game. They really make it seem more real, its own little world. I thought they were clever trailer and teaser.
I really like that too. I really like that they're it's not just a game. They are building this world. They are building this lore. And as much as I hated the fact that Grimoire wasn't present anywhere in the game, it was available. You could go and look up and find out more about this world, even if it was a third person account or like somebody's diary. There was information there, and finding out that information like that there's a magic to it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point with the whole Grimoire thing. Like, Gray got a lot more into that than me, and he would tell me things that he read, like backstories. It's almost like he was playing a different game, because I knew nothing of what some of these stories were, who the characters were and how they had interacted, and stuff that he had read or listened to, and like, he gets everything out of the game, whereas I can sometimes just play it really superficially just to go in and mindlessly shoot things, whereas there is just so much to it, more than that.
Yeah, there is so much more to it than that, and I'm glad that both of you are able to enjoy it on those levels, because that means that there's a wide variety of people out there who are getting exactly what you're getting out of it. Some people want to just go in and do a strike or something. Doesn't even matter what, patrol, and now I'm going to walk away from it. And then there's opportunities for people like Gray, who want to know more, and I don't know. I think that's really special. Bungie is really kick-ass. I think that you were, I don't know that I gave Bungie as much credit as I should have, even with all of the projects that I did with Halo. Like, I played Halo a lot, and so I should have given them more credit. But I remember reading somewhere that they were doing some kind of like medieval thing, or this was something that was on their radar, was doing like a medieval thing, and I was like, well, you know what? I'll just wait and see what it is that they do, and then I will buy it. But I got lucky, actually. I got to go down to Bungie in January of 2013 before they released everything, and I got a chance to play the game, and it just freaking ruined me. Like, it totally ruined me for video games after that. Like I got to play the new first-person version of what Bungie is working on, and so I was actually no help to them, because I just kept going around looking at like the enemies. Like, I just kept focusing on like, what are these things? Like, I just kept looking around. I don't know where I was going with that. I am curious to know, what do you think about the opportunity for Bungie to open up Destiny to not just like a boots on the ground kind of game? What do you think about like space battles? Because
I think we should ban that phrase.
What?
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Considering we've heard it about 50,000 times with Call of Duty.
Totally. But you know what? Like, I remember there was talk about Destiny having space battles because of that mission in Halo Reach where you fly a spaceship. And so I was one of these people that was ready to do space battle as well. And then Deej continued to use boots on the ground up until the launch of Destiny, where we found out there was no space battles. Is that something that would interest you as being part of the game, or like, what about Sparrow Racing? Did you enjoy Sparrow Racing, or was that also another aspect where you're not holding a shotgun?
Yeah, I thought I would like Sparrow Racing, because I did occasionally play at like actual racing games, but I was also just really not good at it, and and Gray was really, really good at it, and so it was
man,
opposite ends of the spectrum again. I mean, maybe I'm just a really sore loser, but it's just not fun to like play round after round and be like, I'm last. One time he was like, oh, did you quit? I'm like, no, I'm just that far behind. Do you remember that?
I do, and I wasn't trying to be an asshole at all.
I know, you were legit like, hey, where'd you go? Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, but
I don't buy it. Gray is like, he's so nice. He's so nice even when he's bagging on you. I believe that was
No way.
ribbing.
You haven't played with him enough then.
So what are you saying, Sharks?
Asshole.
I was a little rough on Sharks last night. I needed to apologize actually for some of my comments.
Oh man, that's
Sharks.
good.
Sharks asked me last night because he was talking about raiding with Agrios, which you guys had just an epic long challenge mode raid night the other night, and he wanted to tell me about it, but he prefaced it by saying, "Gray, do you know what I did to complete challenge mode the other night?" And I said, I don't know. Did you give your account to somebody else so they could do it for you?
Poor Sharks.
The look on his face. Because, so if you guys watch the pre-show, you will see that
this is
in
another
this...
thing. Yeah, no, wait. Before he gets to this, he didn't see the look on my face. He's just imagining it, and he's going to tell you why he's imagining it.
It's so good. But, yeah, Sharks looks are the best. In fact, we did webcams only so we could see Shark's face. The rest of you guys, it's great, but it's to see Shark's face. But if you watch the pre-show, and we did the Nightfall Strikes with some different challenge modifiers, thanks to our friend Jelly and Mark Squared. Sharks is significantly better than Mark and I when it comes down to the end score of those rounds. I mean, he just makes us... He's playing at a different tier. So when I tease him, it's because we are so far apart in skill level that my joke is obviously being facetious, because there's no way that I could even stand in his shadow, let alone give him a hard time.
Whatever. Give yourself more credit.
I never get to play with Gray, but...
You know... That's exactly the reason I bag on you, Gray, because I'm just so far behind in the awesome category. It's the only thing I can do is just punch up, you know. So so I want to. You're awesome, Gray. You're way kick ass.
Thank you.
Wait. I gotta say now, because I called him an ass. Okay, after I got off, I told my wife how much I love raiding with Gray, and I said I don't raid with them enough. Or do anything with them enough, and she's like, "You're playing with them all the time lately." I was like, "No, seriously, like I don't. I love playing with Gray. He's hilarious most of the time."
Right. Well, I'm like I said earlier. He really a calming influence on me. Like when we raid on the Xbox, we just burn through bad guys like it's no big deal. Because Gray is awesome. You're awesome, Gray. Okay, so Hefty. Space battles. You think this might just fall under the same SRL, like maybe not a sore loser, but maybe also don't want to have to look at other people winning, kind of thing?
Yeah, I would be concerned about that, but I would be up for trying. I'll always try.
Excellent. What do you think about something much different? Like one of the things I always wanted to see in Destiny, because I enjoy just existing in this world, is like a Destiny themed version of like a game that you'd find at like a Pizza Hut, like a Miss Pac-Man or something, like something in the tower where you're playing like Contra, but with like Destiny Guardians. Like, what do you think about taking it back a step? Like, I know that we're not going to have this happen now because the tower's getting exploded. But it always really occurred to me that I would really love to play even something weird like a claw game. You know, like a, you know, here is this thing in the tower, and you walk up to it, and it's like one of those little claw things, and you're trying to pick out something from the thing. Like I've always wanted more like this. Or does that not interest you either?
No, I'd be up for that too. I think that I could see him doing something like that, like a little mini side thing. Just the way they've set up, it's still a bigger extent. But I was thinking back through the way we've played the game, and for a month we'd play, say, a specific raid, and then the next month it would be something new. And there's always, like now, we used to do prison all the time, and then prison became obsolete. And then there was the, what's it called? That room on the Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, the
Court
ball.
of Works.
The Court of Works.
Court, yeah, court. So like we did court all the time. And it's like now that has nothing to do with anything, but for a while it was really big. And so yeah, if they like threw in another little thing here or there, I could see it working out. I think it's good to keep people interested by doing those types of things.
I think it would be pretty epic if they did like a little arcade console that you could go into, like what Fallout kind of did with their their system. But imagine if take it to the next level, and what if they did like Myth is what ran on it, like old school Bungie games, really early stuff like that.
That is a level of awesome that I would fully accept. Something that you didn't have to do, something you could do if you wanted to. Because that Fallout example is really great. Just here's like a cartridge. Here's like this Commodore 64 style game. Like this seems really that seems really cool. But what you're saying is an entire world wrapped up in a world, and I want to do that. Like I would do that. I would play anything that had to do with Destiny, and I don't know. I don't think we're going to get anything really that cool because we're apparently going to be on the run. Like, where are we even going to be? Where are we going to be now? Like, we don't have the tower to go back to. There was a line in the description for the super collector's edition of Destiny 2 that's like, carry all your goodies that you pick up on the wilderness in this satchel. And I started thinking, well, wouldn't that be crazy if our vault, like we had a mini vault on us, like instead of just, like it would be a backpack tab. Like I think that might be interesting. But yeah, where are we even going to go? Gray, where are we going to go now?
So I think we're going to spend at least the initial part of the game on the run. I hope that we don't spend too much time before we're able to travel to other planets. Tower's destroyed, and I don't think that they're going to expand out the story to other planets for at least a little bit of time. But
agreed.
I'm really excited about exploring new worlds, right? New experiences, new environments. What I don't necessarily want to see is the new version, the Cosmodrome running in a new engine or new parts of the Cosmodrome, but it's still kind of the same world that you've been in. What I'm, knowing the tower's gone, knowing that we're going to be on the run, I hope it doesn't take too long to get to go to new planets that we haven't been to yet.
Like, where do you want to go specifically?
Uranus. That's where I want to go. Mark Square jokes.
I didn't see that coming.
like Mercury, but not the Crucible type maps of Mercury, but actually world environments on Mercury that we have to explore, and then even further out distant, right? Like what if we actually got to go out as far as like Pluto, which isn't a planet anymore, but get out there and
it is to me.
It is to me too. It is to me too.
Yes. But yeah, like experience the furthest edge of our solar system that's just completely encompassed in the darkness. So what is that environment like?
I like that.
All you have to do is ask Efferdy.
Oh, that's true.
She hasn't talked to me since that first mission with her. Then she says the same stuff.
I don't even think Efferdy's been out that far though.
To where her buddies are?
She said to the rim.
Yeah. Isn't the rim
the rim's past
the asteroid belt?
No, the rim's past all the planets.
Yeah.
So where are we going, Sharks? Like I like Gray's idea of being on the run for a while. I think that's going to be cool. But he's also right. It shouldn't take too long before we're able to go other places. But I mean, at the same time, there's got to be some progression in the story. Like I understand that Bungie doesn't want to be too linear about this, but just kind of picking up where you're left off after one or two missions doesn't really. I don't feel like that's going to give us the most of the mission. Agrios, where are we gonna hang out?
Wait a minute! I thought you were asking me, and then you went to Agrios. What the hell is that?
Your beard got cold.
I'm done. I'm drinking some more drink.
Yeah, Agrios, tell me, what are we gonna do?
Well, I feel like Europa has been on the table for a really long time. We've seen a lot of concept work for Europa. I think even with science, like real science and stuff, there's a lot of mystery underneath the surface of Europa.
Yeah, Europa Report. Watch it.
Additionally, we seem really involved with the whole Hive thing. Like they seem to be maybe an enemy more woven into the storyline than other enemies. The other enemies seem incidental to me. Like the Cabal seem like they're just another race dealing with everything that's going on like us. The Fallen seem the same way to me, whereas the Hive seem more intricate, like more crucial to this whole darkness and what is really going on here with the Traveler and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Obviously, innately know how to like harness the light and darkness, like they stole bits of the Traveler and stuff like that. So
the Hive are like bed bugs, and the other enemies are like the criminals outside your house waiting to steal your stuff.
I don't know about all that. I think I'm not. I mean, we could go way off the tracks here on lore and what I think and whatnot, but I think the Traveler isn't necessarily a force of good. I'm not gonna say it's evil either, but I don't think it's necessarily a force of good. I think perhaps that the Fallen or old Guardians that have learned how to sustain themselves after the Traveler abandoned them for whatever reason. No, maybe they were abandoned because they went evil with the power they had and something. That's why the Traveler abandoned them. The Traveler is good or something.
Man, that's a good point.
But the servitors are basically like their big ghosts and whatnot. So
that's really interesting, yeah.
What I think is that we may even, since the Hive are so intricate and interwoven with this, they have, this connection to other dimensions even. When we kill Oryx and whatnot, he's not really dead. He's just banished to this other dimension type thing, right? Without getting too intricate on it. Uh-huh. So I think potentially we could even see ourselves leaving this current plane of existence.
That sounds really cool. I like that a lot. Sharks. The tower is destroyed. All of our stuff is gone. What do you see? Like Gray paints a really interesting picture. Couple missions of hardship, and then where are we going from there?
I just want to know, if I start talking, are you going to cut to Jez?
Jez, what do you think about this? Like, the tower is destroyed, and Gray had a really good idea. A couple of missions of hardship. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to hang out? You're muted, by the way.
Oh, I touched the button too. Said you might want to skip me because I'll just bring up World of Warcraft.
I don't know. I like it when you bring up World of Warcraft. It's something that I don't know a lot about, and I feel like there's a lot to mine there, actually.
So last expansion, they went back in time to a place that we visited before called Draenor, and the very start of it, you get thrown into this giant battle, and you basically have to play your way through to get to the rest of the expansion. So it's kind of like this prelude to, hey, you're totally cut off from where you used to be. And that, I feel like that's what they're going to do. They're going to cut you off from where you used to be. You'll work your way towards finding a new base, and then go from there.
I like that. I mean, that really makes the most sense. Where's that base going to be?
I don't know. I mean, there's a perfectly good Iron Temple.
Oh, there is a perfectly good Iron Temple.
There's a perfectly good reef.
You're right. It's just our comfy home outside the city that's in danger.
Man, that's a problem. With our new homestead being on Europa, it's very close to a sphere that can support life in our solar system.
Yeah, but I don't like water.
Have you seen Europa Report, Jez?
What?
Europa Report. Have you seen it?
I feel like I know it, but I don't know what you're talking about.
It's good. You guys should watch it. It's awesome. Sharks.
I believe it's on Netflix, so you should be able to find it pretty easily.
Yeah, it's good in that it's I don't know. I like the idea of dangerous pioneering out in the solar system. It seems really exciting to me. I would go live on Mars if I didn't get seasickness from just not driving a car down the freeway. Sharks, what do you make of all of this? Do you think that we're going to face the first couple of missions hardship, and then then we'll be able to go and do whatever we want? Or, I almost feel like I really think that they should really double down on the hardship. Many people have noticed that we don't have ghosts with us right this second. That could be a big problem. Like, we might not have any of our super abilities, so all we have is our gear. What do you make of this? Do you agree with the timeline of a couple of missions, and then back to some cool times? Or what do you think about all this, Sharks?
Yeah, I could, in all seriousness, I can see trying, to storyline as far as or taking them away, giving us our super, saying, here, go out with such and such a person, or we're going to learn this new, whatever, and you're going to progress from there. I agree with a lot of the people that are talking in the community saying, oh, well, we're not going to be going anywhere. Our vault's gone, our ghost's gone, our ships are gone. There's no reason for Bungie to take all of that away from people. I understand that the city was blown up, the towers in disarray, but everything isn't going to get destroyed. And we already know, based off of speculation, that there's going to be ships, because they've shown different types of ships in the logo. A lot of people are saying it's going to be new ships, which is really cool. But what's that? Okay, so they're going to have new ships. If you're going to have ships, you're going to go somewhere. I don't think you're going to be stuck on Earth. I think that you're going to be going into the other planets. It makes no sense for us not to go back to Mars, because Mars is the Cabal's staging grounds. But we're not going to go back to the same Mars that we played in Destiny 1. It's a new game. It can be a different area. Mars is a huge planet, just like Earth is a huge planet. We're not going to be going into the plague lands. We're not going to be going into old Earth Russia. We're going to be going into the city, and maybe, if we're lucky, going into these other places that we heard about before Destiny actually even launched, like old Chicago and stuff like that. I do definitely believe that they're going to expand on going to some of the other places that maybe they talked about in the past. Whether we get a lot of that before the expansions, I don't know. And I think Gray's going to get what he wants. They're definitely going to go to Mercury. I mean, we already know that the Osiris mission, the guy's supposed to be on Mercury somewhere, so they're going to have a huge expansion on Mercury, I'm guessing. But who knows what kind of stuff that we're going to go and see when Destiny 2 launches. I don't think we're going to be stuck on the one planet, though. Definitely not.
All right, Hefty, what do you make of all of this speculation here? Missions before missions, punishing missions where we have nothing, no ghosts, no ship, nowhere to back up to. What do you make about all this? What are you hoping to see? Is there an outcome? Do you want it to be rough in the beginning levels, like really, really pounding home? You have nowhere to go. You have no good gear. You have to start all over. What is your take on all this?
Yeah, I think that'd be a very interesting way to start. I think what everybody has said is interesting to hear. Everybody has their own speculation and ideas of where it could go. And I mean, I really haven't thought through it quite as far as everybody else. But I think if it did start pretty bare bones, it would be the most fitting based on how it's supposedly ending. But if it does, it could get a little dicey for people who only want to play with shotguns.
Right, there's some kind of algorithm. Oh, this person plays with mostly shotguns. Don't give her any of those.
We're all going to start with a sniper rifle, and that's it.
Right, or like a stick.
Yeah.
The thing to remember, though, is they probably are going to start you off with no powers at all.
Yeah.
And the Traveler, they're being cut off from the Traveler for the moment at the start is probably the easiest way to flavor, hey, you don't even have your powers, so work your way up to getting your powers again.
No, wait a minute here. Where are we getting here that we were cut off from the Traveler?
Well, I'm just
that
saying that
people are
would be an
assuming
easy way
because
to
of the lack of
flavor.
ghosts.
Well, I mean, just because we lose the city and the traveler is there with the city, it's not like we don't have our powers when we go to Mars or the Dreadnought.
What I'm saying is, they'll probably try to flavor something in so that they can explain away that you don't have your supers anymore, and then you work your way by leveling up to get your super again.
I understand what you're saying, Agrios, but I totally agree with Jez. Like, I understand your reservation, but I think that it'll be, the same thing.
I just said cut off from the traveler as a easy way to say, like, something's going to happen that's going to make it so that the traveler is not helping us for the start of the start of the game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying as well. Okay. Agrios, what do we got by way of news of Destiny?
Squat. The the Bungie weekly, or this week at Bungie, I should say, has been delayed until tomorrow early. This may or may not be related to the mystery packages that some members of the community have shown images of that they have, and I guess are going to be opening tomorrow. So what do we think? What is going on tomorrow? Are we like unveiling a new toy? Are people getting the stuff that's in the collector's edition like now to start showing off? Are these some dumb notebooks in a mug that they're sending these people? What are we looking at here? What's in the box?
I have two theories myself.
Wait, I want to say to you, Agrios, a dumb mug and a notebook. I will happily accept that dumb mug and a notebook.
No. But what I'm saying is, there's been times when the community has put things together that don't belong together, like the Bungie weekly update being updated. Some random dude in the community getting a Bungie box, got all excited, and they got a mug and a notebook to give away or something.
I agree with Remy.
It's dumb for me that they got a mug and notebook. I'm sure they're thrilled about their mug and notebook. But
whether it's
I could give a flying
a mug or something else, it's not dumb. Okay, you know why he's saying that? Because you only have 1,900 hours.
No, he's saying that because we're assuming that what's in the box is related to Destiny 2 and not thank you for being a part of the community thing.
Right. It's going to be like slippers or something.
Bungie sent me a mug. I love
it. In that case, I'm jealous. It was the one that you bought?
No.
Oh, for real? They sent you a mug?
Yeah, I want it.
Oh, that's cool. You kick ass, Agrios.
It's not really a mug. It's a glass Nalgene.
Oh, glass. We break glass too often in my house, and I think Gray's tired of hearing those questions.
Are these nylon fibers glass?
So we have squat to talk about. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I have some things to bring up. I was just I was getting there though.
So wait. I want to, Hefty. What is it that you think is a good conversation? Like, what do we need to talk about Destiny? Like, what is it? Because I as I'm watching you answer these questions, I will see you just light up with, oh, I have a lot to talk about here. And then there's the times where it's like, well, Grimoire, so what is it? What right now? This is your podcast. What would you talk about right now about Destiny?
I would kind of already hit. My big thing was the Moments of Triumph book completion. That's
awesome.
What I was most focused on most recently. It's actually what brought me back to Destiny, because I had taken some time away and would sign on and sit there and want to play, but didn't really have anything to work on. But if you make a checklist for me, then I'm obsessed with checking off those nodes unless it says trials at the top of the page. So, I mean, I'm glad that they did it. And I'm glad it was different than the last book, because this one had a lot more, I don't know.
Variety.
Variety. The last book I was at 63, and even if I go back and look at it, there's the stuff that I didn't finish I'm probably not going to finish. So, yeah, it was fun. I'm glad.
I'm a big fan of checklists as well. The books are, I've always thought the books are really cool. I hope that's something that carries over into Destiny 2. Like I really like the idea. And that could even be a place where, story driven content comes from. You gather this many materials or whatever and you clean this page and then a mission opens up. That would be really cool.
So question for you guys, because I view that this group here, while we're from the scope of casual all the way to like really serious hardcore Destiny players, do you intend to actually get 100% completion on your book? Like not just the completion, but like every node?
Yeah, probably not. I think that if I have an opportunity to like, I will be picking away at it until Destiny 2 comes out. Like there's a lot of little things that I can go and do, and I really got the hardest one done already, which was getting to the lighthouse. So I feel like it's only really a matter of time before I take it off to actually 100%. But for the most part, I feel like once I'm able to purchase that shirt, like there's a lot of other games out there I really want to play. There was some really good deals just recently. I picked up a couple of games on the Xbox, and so as much as I really love Destiny and I try to play only Destiny, I still want to finish Mass Effect. I just picked up the latest Wolfenstein. That looks really great. Can't really play that in front of the kids. But I mean, I could see myself 100%ing it for real, just because I've got the hardest thing done. But other than that, it's not pressing. I definitely want to 100 the Rise of Iron book, because that only 100s after you complete everything. But the Age of Triumphs, I don't know if it's necessarily.
So do we think it was a good move by Bungie to let that 100% completion mark, not require true 100% completion of the book, giving the flexibility?
At least to some degree, because I mean, the Guardians who just weren't here day one shouldn't be punished for that. So, like, I think maybe they were a little more generous with the climb to 100% than they needed to be. But I definitely don't think it should have been a true 100% to, the things. I think it should have been maybe 100% of the things that you can still go and do in Destiny. Mm-hmm. I think if it's something that you still can't complete, it shouldn't have been part of the 100%, and maybe that's it.
I think it's just an interesting dynamic where you have Hefty Flounder, who was really engaged in this book, knowing that while she didn't have to do every single thing in it, she could still get 100% completion and get the T-shirt and get the rewards, get the carrot at the end of that journey. And then, guys like you and I, who we're going to, hopefully all of us will get there too, to get to 100%. We're, I tend to lean more on the side of like, I want to get every node done as well. But I recognize too that there's certain nodes that, since I know I can get to 100% and I know I can get my shirt, I'm not going to put the time into getting those nodes, even if I can get them done.
Well, let me rephrase my answer a little bit then, Gray. I agree with you that I think that's a good feature, that they can get the shirt before having to the people who are a little more casual and stuff like that. But I think maybe then I would have preferred that they offered the shirt at like 66% completion or something, like a majority completion type deal. Because now, once you hit 100% of the book, you have no way to compare how, like, if Sharks and I are both 100% got our T-shirts, we have no way to compare how close we are to truly 100%ing the book, except for actually counting our nodes or something like that and taking that time. I just wish I still had that meter to continue using.
I could definitely see that, but I think, Gray, I think that it was, I feel like because I haven't completed, I have not gotten to their quote 100%, I feel like there was still quite a lot to do, like it wasn't, the book wasn't going to auto complete itself. You had to actually try to do it. And I feel like Bungie has short timers, and now we have short timers, like Destiny's coming into an end. Like, let's just have a good time. Like, enjoy yourself, Guardian. Like, this is, it's mayhem at this point. It's not, let's just end it with a nice bang. If you do X amount of stuff, which I feel is a pretty good amount of stuff, like Hefty, how long did it take from the time that you got your book to the time that you were able to purchase your shirt? Like, how much time did you put into it? Was it like a real grind? Like you actually spent time trying to get this?
Yeah, I played specifically to finish it. I don't know how long it took hours wise. I mean, it was a significant amount of time because the ones I had automatically checked off got me. Gosh, I knew at one point how far it got me, but it wasn't super far. And I had worked through a lot on my secondary characters, but not to complete it. The Warlock page was super fast, but the other characters definitely took longer. But it was, I mean, I feel like you could get a lot of it done just by playing casually, or even, in your normal raid activities, you would get a lot done, especially if you switched out characters. But there's some that like you have to specifically devote yourself to doing, like climbing to the top of Fellwinters, and like, that's not going to accidentally happen.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, a lot of it you could get done more casually. I agree with what he was saying though about like comparing completion, because when I finished it, for some reason I wasn't thinking it was just going to show up as your book's complete. Like part of me felt like, well, no, it's not. It's not complete because all those nodes are left undone, and that now if I finish those off, it's still going to say the same %.
That's
and
true.
The same your book's complete. Now it's more complete.
Yeah, I
Right,
wish
maybe
it
what they
actually
should've
counted
done-
up and was like, now you're at 102%, 104%, 105%.
It does
Yes.
that with individual nodes, like where some of them are, X amount of like things completed or guardians killed or different things within those nodes now count up higher. Get 120 of this. Well, now I'm at 125. Like you can go beyond, so it makes sense if the % did too.
Yeah, or what would have been even interesting is if they would have given you the opportunity to purchase the shirt at like 75% or whatever actual % it was, and then there's like a shader or something at the end of the 100, something that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like who cares about one more shader?
I mean, who cares about all the stuff that you get now because Destiny 2?
Right. That's a good point too. Well, what do you think about this, Jez? And have you completed your book yet? And are you buying a shirt? And what do you think about what Gray said?
I can't remember what Gray said because I forget about him. No, I actually just forgot because I don't have a very good memory for a lot of things. But in general, I'm very slowly working my way at it, but I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just kind of playing once in a while and be like, oh, I'll just check here. Oh, she's got a ship, buy it. I'm out of money again. Turn off the game.
So what do you play instead?
Oh, Christ, that's a loaded question.
Oh, and Persona 5. So many people are talking about Persona 5. Like I want to look into it, but I don't want to look into it because if I get it, I'm gonna want to go in like blind.
So, lately I've been playing Yooka-Laylee, Flint Hook, Persona 5, trying to get back into Mass Effect. I barely started that, and also I am trying to play Overwatch.
For real?
Yeah.
Why?
It's a good shooter.
Is it?
It's just kind of repetitive. Hey, where have we heard that before?
Agrios, what do you think about this? What Gray said? Sharks, what do you think about what Gray said?
What's that?
Sharks, what do you think about what Gray said?
You guys have lost me. Are we talking about what Gray said, or are we talking about the moments of triumph?
That's what he was talking about. Or he's talking about the Age of Triumph.
No, I mean Age
and
of Triumph.
He's muted now.
No, you're muted, Gray.
Specifically, the question is, should Bungie continue on making a 100% completion mark at less than true completion of an entire checklist that they give us?
Okay, so here's how I answer it. Bungie's whole point of doing this and saying that you got 100% completion was meant that you were able to order a t-shirt and have a physical whatever in front of you when you go in and play Destiny 2. So, you know, that's what their 100% is. For those of us that are 100% completionists, that 100% doesn't mean anything. It's you have to have everything finished. You have to have your grimoire all the way up to the top. So
but no one knows that but you with the current setup.
How am I?
What I'm saying is, there's no way to like show off your book as being 100% unless you're like Twitch.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. The way that you show off your book that you're 100%, you mean like everything is filled, is you put it out there on the Twitterverse or on Bungie Net, because that's the only way to show anybody, and that's the only way that really matters. Nobody's really going to care anyways. I mean, people have already done it.
What Gray's saying is, like, do you think that they should continue getting 100% of the rewards from a book?
No.
Without having to actually complete 100% of the nodes in the book?
I think that the way they did it is great for people that are not going to be able to do 100% of the stuff. Bungie said originally that we are doing this and we're not going to make you do every single thing because some of the things are impossible for people to do. There are people that cannot go to the lighthouse. It's not going to happen. There are people that cannot do a raid because, you know, look at Heftyflounder. She doesn't want to get into a group. No, I mean, you do or not, maybe you want to play with your husband, but you don't want to get into that group of 6 people. So you're not going to go and you're not going to complete those nodes. But it doesn't matter because Bungie just wants you to feel accomplished, to finish their 100% book. There are crazy people out there that want to get 100% of every single node filled, myself. And what's going to be that, oh, you know, I did it? There isn't going to be anything. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. Those people are the very, very minority. As far as me completing the book, I mean, you guys all know I was gone the first 3 days of the week when this thing launched. When I got home, 3 days after I was here, so 6 days after it was launched, I was 100% complete. So obviously it's possible to do. I am going to continue to do it because I am an addict, like a lot of us are. And there is, you know, why not? You know, yeah, I could not play. I mean, there's no point for me to play. Today, I spent 2 hours looking at shaders. See, I like shaders too, Hefty. I love shaders. I'm all about the way I look. Okay, so like I was picking out my exact shader and what armor I wanted and all that stuff on just for the pre-show. Because that's all that really matters. You know, the game is done at this point in time. I've got my t-shirt on the way. I wish I should be wearing it right now, but of course, Bungie always sends it 2 days before the podcast, so it's not going to get here till Saturday. So I'll wear it next week. But,
so you're saying Bungie should continue to do their books at 100% completion for not completing 100% of the nodes?
Yeah, I think so at this point, because this is your age of triumph. This is that you have played the game to its fullest in the capacity.
I'm talking about when they continue to do books in the future.
Maybe instead of calling it 100% completion of the book, just say it's 100% completion or 100% of the rewards.
Yeah, that's what I would think. So yeah, I disagree. I don't think they should do it that way. I like having, and I actually think that it should be like the grimoire, invisible to other players. So if you want to compare yourself to other players and contrast yourself, you know, you have the ability to do that. If you want to have that competitive spirit to like compete against your clanmates to try to fulfill the nodes in the book, you can look and see where everybody's at by, you know, viewing their character. Like, one of the biggest changes I hated in Destiny was when they took the Grimoire off of the nameplate. I had so much fun competing in Grimoire with Sharks and everybody else. I also really appreciated getting into raids with LFG groups or, strikes with randoms and noticing they had a really high Grimoire score and, complimenting them on that and whatnot. And they bring up, conversation and whatnot. But they took that aspect away. So like Jez said, what I would like to see is 100% of the rewards achieved at 66% completion of the book or something along those lines, whatever's appropriate for that book and its nodes. But allow me to actually reflect whether you have 100% of the things actually filled in or not to go ahead and compete with other people. And like I said, I'd like that to even go so far as to be invisible upon inspection somewhere.
But the problem with what you're saying is it goes against everything that Bungie was putting forth, that you're not forced to go out there and do 100% of the things in game.
But you're not. You'd be getting the rewards at 100% of the rewards at 66%. So you're not forced to go do anything.
Yeah, well, so then what is it that you're asking? Because, if you're playing with people and I'm
asking them to allow me to have a measured way to compete with my friends.
You do. You ask them, are you 100% yet? No, I have 2 nodes left.
Oh, but he sneaky about it. He wants to pick out the people that are underneath him and be like, hey, what's your gamer score?
Well, not only that, but when I achieve it, I want other people who look and see that I have that achievement.
No, I definitely agree with the Grimoire score.
I'm going to suggest a different alternative method, which is 2 words to say of a different way. World of Warcraft has its own achievement system inside the game based off of doing random shit and shit you do normally. And if they just had a tab that was like Destiny achievements, and it was basically a book, but everything you could do.
Like the medals I used to talk about.
Or even like from Borderlands. Borderlands has that page where there's, how many skags you've run over or whatever.
The one in World of Warcraft was like that, the challenge page, except the challenge page is all numbers. And the achievements can be a little bit more obscure, like wear all of this set of armor for whatever type of thing. But I think it'd be better if it wasn't so much of a 0 to 100%, but an ever-growing list of things that you can do to show off.
Well, and that goes to what Agrios has said from months back, is basically like a trophy thing for every single thing in game. And I agree with that. I think that that's really cool. I just think that what we're talking about right now, the whole point of it is just to give people an opportunity to get a t-shirt and say, hey, I've done so much shit in Destiny. I could send them $25 and get this cool t-shirt. I don't think that the rest of it is based off of, I'm going to compete with Heftyflounder and I'm going to compete with Grey Ghost and all you guys, because that's not what it is at this point in the game. That's how I see it.
You know what? I was thinking about it, and I think that they really needed it to be completed without going to 100%, because it would be really crappy. Like, okay, some people come in, buy Rise of Iron, and then here's this Age of Triumphs. Like we didn't pay anything extra for Age of Triumphs, so it was going right on the heels of Rise of Iron. If you bought Rise of Iron and all of the things before it, then you had access to this book. I feel like it would be crappy of them to be like, oh, well, here's this new book, and now if you didn't play from the very beginning, you can't complete this book. Like, I feel like you're just asking for people to be unhappy about it.
We're talking semantics here, really, right? Okay, just because you get your t-shirt and you get the 100%, you didn't complete the book. You got 100% in the book. You didn't complete it. You got 100% in it.
Yeah, I would have rather them
semantics about how we're describing it, and I think by actually making it 100% early, you're simply taking away the ability for like me and Sharks to meter one another and compete along that, and to have that aspect of it. And I think you just could, like Jez said, 100% of the rewards.
Is there any carrot if you actually do complete everything in the book?
No.
So I would have rather had them do, say, at 80% completion, it unlocks the shirt. And at 100% then maybe you get an emblem, right? Nothing that's like super crazy, just an emblem that you know you can take into Destiny 2 with you. That's what I'd rather him do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that idea a lot, Gray. I also like my Titan with the sweet hammer. I'm also a big fan of that.
Mega Bloks?
Yeah, it came with this thing.
Oh, you finished it. Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was like 360 something pieces. It's really great. Like Mega Bloks are kind of like the gross cousin of Legos. Like there's
they're exactly alike almost.
No, they're exactly alike almost. That's true. They're exactly alike almost. Look at this.
But they're not any worse.
They are totally worse. Look at here's the engine compartment.
You're so full of crap.
No, listen, the quality is down the drain. Okay?
They're
like
pieces of plastic, dude.
That's right. They're crappy pieces of plastic.
Legos.
Versus Legos. No, they're not the same thing. They're not even the same formula. We're not even talking about the same game. Ain't no motherfucking ballpark. Okay. But no, I like it. I'm pleased with my purchase, and really I'm a little too pleased with my purchase. Like look at the sweet box. Like it says Destiny on it. Like I'm the kind of guy who would see this and be like, oh, I'm gonna cut it out and make some collage or some crap like this. But then look at this.
Are you gonna pin it on your spirit board, Remy?
Totally. Even where this Guardian was standing, if you see right in there, there's like the Titan.
Hoarders. That's all I can say. Hoarders. This is why your vault is full.
Remy, you could totally use that and make ice.
Right? I can totally use this.
Don't give him ideas. Just be doing.
I just really like my stuff.
Okay, so like I have collected almost every single thing, but I've actually thrown away boxes like that. Don't keep that. You don't need to keep that. Seriously.
Hey, let the man be happy, Sharks. Just let him be happy, cool. Okay?
I just appreciate every scrap of it. I'm that guy.
He has no control over his vault in Destiny, so this is how he's making up for it in real life. He's taking whatever control he can over his Destiny merchandise in real life.
Okay, so I want to talk about something. We were talking about, you guys were talking about the book, and you were talking about how you want to complete it. You want to have something to show for it and all this stuff. And I think that's kind of what these ornaments are for people that are doing the raids. And I think you're missing out, Hefty Flounder, and I think that we should get a group to take you through a raid and get you some ornaments, because it's just badass looking, and I think you'd love it. But and I'm saying that I'm not even on Xbox, but I'm sure we can grab a group together to do it. But that stuff is, I think that stuff at this point in the game is really what's showing people is like, ooh, look at all this really cool stuff. I've got the trial stuff. I've got these new raid ornaments. I mean, I think my Mark Square says that I don't know the exact term that he used, but it looks ridiculous, basically, is what he said my Warlock looks like. I think my Warlock looks badass. Yes, it was pink, but I want everybody to look at me. So I am picking the brightest, flashiest stuff to see my little tentacles or worms. And I'm really upset at Gray, because Gray said that he was going to talk to you, Hefty Flounder, and get me some
worms?
some pills for my worms that I have. But and it hasn't never happened. But yeah, I think my little worms coming out the back on my Vaulted Glass set, and my crazy helmet that I've got and all this stuff. It was really, really cool. And I think that we're all forgetting that this point in the game is almost over. We need to go out there and we need to enjoy it. And what I'm segueing into is, last night I was doing a raid, and I was doing a raid with Maynard James. He messaged. He said, "Sharks, do you want to come on and help me? I need 2 people." And I was like, "Sure." I happened to be on. It was that time. It's like, I'm either going to go to bed or I'm going to jump on if people are on. So I jumped in, and I was like, he's like, he needs 2 people. So I messaged both Remy and Agrios, and before they could even reply, we got a sixth person in there. But we went through and we did this raid with this sixth person. This sixth person was somebody that had not really done very much in Destiny. Definitely probably didn't finish their book like some of us here on the show tonight have. Wasn't even 400. Started out the raid at 397, and every single thing that they were getting from this really neat encounter, these ornaments and all this stuff, it was just amazing listening to this person's excitement. And I think we're all missing that. We're missing that at this point. It's like, oh, well, it should be this way. Enjoy what you're getting. And to top it off, what was going on with this guy, we got to the challenge mode, and we went through one time and we were having issues. We didn't finish it in time, and we're like, what's everybody have on? And throughout the raid, this guy was going, oh, well, I haven't done this raid in a long time. I'm a year 2 player, but basically I did the raid back when it first came out and I haven't done it since. Well, of course, there's lots of changes. So we were having to show him what to do. And he's like, oh, I'm really low level. You're only 3 light level below us, and the raid's 390. So you're not low level, but we'll help you through it. And so we were looking at his weapons because he said, oh, I don't have the swords that you guys have because we were going and doing the challenge mode for you. And I was like, oh, what sword are you using? Oh, the Young Wolf's Howl. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's still an exotic sword. And somebody looked at it and was like, but it's not leveled up. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not leveled up or anything. Well, this guy didn't even know that he could level up stuff with Motes of Light. And so the whole group was all getting together. The other 5 people that were in the group were very experienced people that have done all this stuff, and we now take this game for granted, right? It's almost like you're not enjoying it anymore. And we all banded together and sat through and helped this guy through, learn all these mechanics, like just leveling up a weapon and making himself better, transferring over. He didn't know that he could transfer over stuff from his Titan over to his Warlock and infuse it to make it higher. And we sit here and are like, well, that's ridiculous. How do you not know that? There are people out there that don't know it. And it can take from the game. But it really was exciting to watch his excitement as he was learning this stuff, and sitting here thinking, we should all be like that. We really should at this point. It's that's what this whole game is about. And it just blew my mind listening to this guy, learning all this stuff and getting excited over, oh, it's another word of Crota. Oh, I got a word of Crota. It was awesome. So I just wanted to put that out there, that we need to think about that, especially us on this podcast, because we're promoting this game that we love. Let's show everybody that we do love this game.
Thank you for that. Totally not rambling, totally not ill-timed path that you took there, Sharks. I know that I wouldn't be able to go to sleep tonight without having heard that story. And I'm certain that everyone listening right now is feeling exactly the same way. So thank you very much for that, Sharks. Okay, so we're just about out of time. But I wanted to ask you a question, Hefty. I want you to paint me the picture of when you met Gray, because I imagine like you're on the set of the Muppet Show, right? Like they're doing like a segment with dogs or cats, and you're helping them make sure that these dogs and cats are healthy. And then here's Beaker, right? And Beaker walks up to you and he's like, me. My name is Gray. How close am I? And that is how you met Gray. Because it's important to me to know this.
That's exactly how it happened, actually.
I knew it.
You made that weird sound, too. You're like, I'm Gray. I guess he was Gray then, though. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I just imagine him with like a little pocket protector and like the tape on the glasses, like Like, I feel like Gray's a really cool guy, and I feel like I can attribute that to you. Like watching the way you carry yourself. Gray also has a very similar confidence level, but for different reasons. So yeah, I imagine that when you met him, it was like he was like this goody two shoes, like reading a book or something. Is that how it went down?
So in short, he was working at a coffee shop behind the counter, and I was the one with the book. Actually, funny you would say that. I was studying for the test that you have to take to get into vet school, and I studied at that coffee shop, and he was working there. So that is where we met. It was a coffee shop my friends and I went to in high school, and Gray and I had come from very different aspects in life and happened to come together at that coffee shop on that day.
That's excellent. That's really excellent.
And he was also super sick that night too. So we didn't actually talk very much.
Yeah, the actual night was a little bit of a rough evening. I was actually battling a little bit of an illness, but you're actually almost exactly opposite, Remy, in your assessment, because I was a college dropout at the time. I did not look very good on paper, working at a coffee shop, like just moved 2,000 miles away from my hometown and knew one person in here in Dubuque, Iowa, and trying to convince this very studious, disciplined, wonderful young woman to go out with me when I didn't look very good on paper. The fact that we continued down this road for the last 10 plus years and are going strong is pretty amazing, considering the place where we started.
Excellent. You know what? That's even better than the beaker thing. Although that's probably what I'll remember. I'll be like, what was it that they said? Oh, that's right. Me. All right, cool. Well then, that's it. That's all the time we have for this episode. Let us do shout outs, starting with you, Hefty Flounder.
Oh, you gotta pick me first? I totally forgot that you guys do this, so now I don't even know who to say.
I can swing back around to you if you actually want to think somebody up, or you can just shout out that you're not on Twitter and that people can just forget about you now because you're not interested in hanging out with them.
I'm not on Twitter, and you will never find me anywhere.
Right, you will never find me.
If you friend me on Xbox, I will just ignore it. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, man,
I have a really weird shout out though, because I was sitting here thinking this. Sharks sort of in a weird way looks like my ex-boyfriend that I played Halo with that got me into video games. So shout out to Nooch. Right? Like if you shave his face, he looks like him, doesn't he?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to say this is not a good thing because I've been hiding from Gray that I've been talking to you for weeks now, setting this up, and now you're saying that I look like you're. This is not good. It's not good.
It's just so funny.
Now, thanks.
He agrees. I know he agrees, right?
Sure. Yeah. No, I don't have to worry about Sharks because Shark's not a pharmacist, and you were only into pharmacists during that phase of your life.
And I'm married to a beautiful wife that's sitting right over
there. I mean, Sharks did earlier say, "See, Hefty, I like shaders too," because because I know when I go out to meet women and I'm married, I'm always like, oh, hey, you wait till you see my shaders.
Hey, guys, women are only about your Grimoire score.
Right? It is about Grimoire score. That's why Agrios is so mad. Nobody knows.
Chicks can't check out my big Grimoire no more.
Okay, that was a really great, weird shout out there.
I know. I just I couldn't resist. So. Sorry.
Gray, shout out.
So my shout out is actually going to be more of a charge to the Guardian 1 faithful out there. We are reaching really the point of Age of Triumph where we're likely going to see the player base start to fade off a little bit, right? We've gone through all the raids now. They're coming back for their second cycle around. A lot of people have gotten their ornaments, they've gotten their gear, they've finished that content, they're finishing their books. What I want to charge our Guardian 1 members and those who want to support the mission of Guardian 1. This is the ideal time when your fire team is short 1 or 2 people to get out there on the LFGs, look for people that want to run this for the first time, get through the activities that they can't get through because they don't have that body of people. This is a great time to do it. When you do those things, especially if you do it under the banner of Guardian 1, share those stories. Share them in the Twitter chat. Use it to help build up our community here so that we are stronger and we are doing what we should be doing and helping people accomplish things in this game that they wouldn't otherwise be able to.
Man, what a great shout out that is, Gray. This is what I'm talking about, Hefty. Look at this. Gray the bomb. Sharks.
My shout out goes to Subcult and Maynard James for bringing me into that raid last night and getting to meet basically like a noob guardian who is Gunslinger Rage.
Excellent. And also, I want to play with Subcult. Was he cool?
Yeah, I mean, anytime, whenever you want.
Agrios, shout out.
My shout out this week goes to Sharks for coming in and on reset night, I had not yet completed Wrath of the Machine yet. And being that it's special situation where you have to complete it the week that it's 390 to get the node done, or you have to wait till it comes around again, that one's a pretty important one to finish. We had gotten partway through earlier in the week, and I was hoping to finish it, at least the first time through with a G1 team, keep my, refresh my memory. It had been a while since I had played through Wrath of the Machine before I went and tried LFG. Unfortunately, I never got together with the group, and it came down to 3 a.m.-ish on reset night. And I finally found a group, and it was they were struggling. They were giving up on challenge mode and just wanted to get it done. Sharks came in and joined us, and to none of his benefit. And this was after he had already taken his back medication and things like that. So for hours, he's like starting. This is the medication to put him to sleep at night. So he doesn't have any problem with that. He's playing the raid through all this to help me. And the amusing part was it took me being pantsless to finish. I had actually finished the last 2 runs against Oryx totally naked from the waist down.
What?
Yeah.
So your choices are pants or naked?
Actually, I had to take my pants off.
Those are your choices, pants or naked?
Oh, yeah. Totally naked from the waist down. Here's what happened.
All I know.
From now on.
Playing Wrath of the Machine. It's intense. We're playing for a couple hours to get done. This group is great guys, but not the best.
3 hours at the last spot. It was horrible. No, okay, I just know. I want to interject. Okay, I just want everybody to know I was so glad I was so drugged up on pills. Right. And he didn't say anything that night because I would have died if he had told me he was playing naked.
So, those Cadbury cream eggs, they're wonderful, wonderful, delicious things. Well, I had one sitting on the arm of my recliner as we were playing. It was an intense game. I'm sure the recliner was rocking back and forth a bit, and it rolled underneath my leg. Now, fortunately, there's a blanket on the recliner, but I had a little itch. I went down to itch it. It was everywhere. So meanwhile, we're in the middle of an Oryx run. We're doing really good. We're like 3rd damage phase almost. I'm like, no, I'm standing there playing like. So I end up having to take all that off and whatnot. And we go right into the next run. Everybody's like, we're leaving everything. So I don't have time to even go put pants on. We go right into the next run and we beat them.
That's interesting. TMI. Okay, Jez.
So, shout out to this really nice Dungeons & Dragons ampersand mug. Because it's cool and it holds things and it does things for me.
Do you put pencils in it or do you drink out of it?
I would drink out of it.
Okay.
I just got it today.
Okay. Excellent. My shout out is 3 parts. Number 1, thank you very much to Sharks 3D Man for making this happen. Actually, he does all of the booking. So if you want to be on the show, bother him. But also, it took a lot for him to hide this. it was a surprise to Gray that his significant other was going to be on the show tonight. This has been in the works for a while, and I wanted answers. I wanted answers to this enigma that is Gray Ghost. So thank you very much, Sharks. The second part is to Gray. It's actually more of an apology. Gray, sorry I sprung this on you, buddy. I am very much interested in hot takes. Like, I'm very much interested in, asking someone a question that they weren't expecting and then seeing what they have, like, how's this going? And this was like the ultimate, you didn't have any idea this was happening. I mean, you did say you had an inkling, and I don't doubt that at all. Especially because you had my flounder on the pre-show 2 weeks ago. So I feel like that's where the connection came. Like, you knew I was going to get you back, which is funny because I had planned this before that happened. So just so you know. So yeah, sorry about that, Gray. And then third part. No worries. The third part is to Hefty Flounder. Number one, thank you very much for being on the show. I love talking to people who love talking about Destiny, and it is very clear that you are a hardcore player and that you enjoy Destiny. And I'd love to have you on the show at some point in the future. Maybe there will be something that you just have to talk to all these people that you don't want to talk to. And that'll be an interesting show. But also, thank you very much for sharing Gray with all of us. Guardian 1 would not be what it is right now if it wasn't for Gray. Really, the podcast was on its last leg. Before every episode, there was like just me cussing up a storm in the chat because my computer would just shut down for some reason. And Gray really came in at a point in time where I needed somebody else to lift part of this weight. Even though it's just a fun hobby podcast, it still was a bummer when it's like, 9:30, let's start an hour and a half late. So thank you very much for sharing him with us. I don't know that I would be so easy to share Gray with the rest of the world if I was you. But you know what? Maybe it's nice. Maybe you're like, thank God. Like really, your shout out was to Guardian 1 for taking Gray. Like, yes, go talk about it somewhere else with somebody else. But it's really great having him part of this. And Guardian 1 would not be what it is right now. So thank you very much for letting him be part of this. Not to say that you're some controlling weirdo or anything, but family comes first too. So it's really nice that we are able to have him as often as we do, because he's a really big part of this group. And yeah, it just wouldn't be Guardian 1 without him at this point in time. So thank you very much, Hefty.
You're very welcome, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And that wraps up episode 131. We would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, or have any comments on something has already been covered, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.